At US Exim's annual conference in Washington, D.C., GTR caught up with President and Chairman Fred Hochberg to get his views on a range of export-related issues.
In 2012, Exim Bank authorized $35.8 billion worth of authorizations and loans and insurance, 2.5 times more than we did in 2008, and supported 255,000 jobs in America. So this was an extraordinary year for us, our largest year of authorizations. And this year already, in 2013, we're 6 months into our fiscal year, we've already done more loans in this year than all of 2008. So this year is starting very strong, the strongest first 6 months we've ever had. So exports are up. President Obama's plan about doubling exports is moving along, making steady progress, and we're there to support U.S. exporters. Well, I think, first of all, as we heard this morning, people feel they're really emerging economies or fast-growing economies. And the demand for things such as airplanes, locomotives, satellites, power plants, these are really driving, and partly because we have an emerging and a growing middle class. The Brookings Institute in Washington estimates as many as 200 million per year over the next 2 decades. That creates enormous demand for clean water, better health care, better airports, more transportation, and the United States sells a lot of those goods and services. Our mandate at the Export-Import Bank of the United States is sustain and support and create U.S. jobs. So we take the environment into account, but our first and primary mandate is about private sector jobs in America, and that's really what guides our effort. So we have a strong effort as Tetra Tech, a company I talked about this morning, selling clean water systems to Sri Lanka, renewable energy, but also conventional energy. So we don't make those choices. We just want to make sure they're environmentally consistent with global standards. I can't speak for others. At the United States Exim Bank, we are there to support the banking system. We have no interest in supplanting it. We provide financing for about 2% of U.S. exports, but they're an important 2%. And I mentioned this morning, in satellites, we finance 60% of the commercial satellites. We finance about 30-35% of commercial aircraft, about 30-35% of locomotives. So certain sectors, we become vital to making sure those exports can be sold globally. And certain countries that have a harder time attracting capital, we can make sure that exports go to those markets. But we don't do a lot of work in Europe. We don't do a lot of work in developed economies.